Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna make a tutorial about Kerbal Space Program for complete beginners. So let's get it started. You start by going to start game, obviously. And then you want to start new, unless you want to try to do a training or a specific mission. You could just go start a new mission. And the main tabs here are sandbox. Sandbox, obviously, there's no cost for anything. It's basically creative mode. You don't have any cost. You don't have to research. You don't have to do science. There's nothing. You got all the parts, and you're good. You just straight up start playing the game with everything. There's science, which you must gather. You must do scientific experiments to be able to unlock the new tiers of parts. There's no cost in the science mode. There's just science to unlock the parts. And then there's carrier mode, where you need to accumulate money and science to unlock the parts. So if you want to unlock the next node in the tech tree, you'll need money and science to get everything. So there's multiple modes of carrier. Obviously there's easy, there's normal, moderate, hard, and you can customize it. I usually like to play with moderate since it allows you to do reverting flights. So if you have people that just died and you hit a quick save, you could just reload. You could play with the re-entry heating, missing crew respawn. So if you have somebody that dies, it will respawn. Resource abundance, so you can mine resources on every world. In specific biomes, there's more resources than others. So you could put it to maximum or leave it to whatever you want. You can decide the starting fund, starting science, starting reputation, and so on. So let's say most of you guys that are new will probably play normal mode. So I'll go with that mode and start a new game. So I'll hit accept. Before I do not look at these things here. They're a part of the mods that I'm using, except for the advanced tab. You could choose if you want Kerbal experience. Kerbals level up immediately, or usually they would level up as soon as they come back on land and when you recover the ship. Kerbal G-force limit. Yeah, sure. Let's put some more realistic in this. So if you wanted that, you could do that. Recovery signal for control, plasma, blackout. So you can decide really like the level of realism you want. So it's up to each and every one. So I'll just click accept. Let's call myself Space Sex. No, like this. All right. And once you choose the name, you could choose a flag. So every time you plant a flag on another planet, this is what it would look like. There's no SpaceX, but that's the closest one. So let's take this and click start. I'm wondering if the camera is not too high or something like that. So let me know down in the chat, guys. Also, a good subscribe and a good like would be really appreciated. So you're greeted with this kind of map, if you want. You could read that, but it's just Gene Kerbin, flight director, of your guide for this quick introduction. This is the Space Center. From here, you can manage all aspects of the space program. Feel free to have a look around. Hold the right mouse button and move the camera using the arrow keys. Right-click over the Space Center to view more about them, and left-click when you're ready to head inside. Thanks. So I could just explain everything to you broadly. This is the launch pad, so this is where you'll be launching rockets from. The tracking station, there's multiple levels, you can upgrade them, but at the tracking station, all ongoing mission can be viewed and focused. Landed craft can be recovered from here as well. So when you upgrade them, the radio power increases by a lot, from 2 to 50G. I don't remember on the top of my head the last tier of power signal, but whatever. This is the research and development center, so this is where you'll get to spend your science points. This is the astronaut complex, administration building, spaceplane hangar, where you get to build your aircraft and stuff like that. Mission control is usually the first spot you'd go. those are the missions. So the first mission is gather scientific data from Kerbin, so I'll take it, and launch our first vessel. I'll take that as well. So I reach my maximum contract. Since this building is level 1, the maximum active contract is 2. When you upgrade it, it's going to be 7, and the last upgrade is unlimited. So there's that. Let's quickly take a look at the tracking station. Let's go over them one by one, just to give you a feel for it. I have no ongoing mission, but if you had a mission, for example, on the moon, it would be shown here, and you just have to click and you could go visit it. So this is the moon, and then you get Minimus. And if you zoom even further out, you get the map of the solar system. And if you add mods that could add other solar system, you would also see them from the tracking center. So let's exit the tracking and let's go to the science center. So this is where you get to unlock all the parts to finish the game. Well, kind of finish the game. You can't never really finish the game, but this is the main goal: finishing the game, doing the contracts, visiting all the planets, and unlocking every parts possible. So don't be surprised if there's a lot of parts that I have in the tech tree that you don't have. That's because I'm using mods. If you want to know what mods I'm using, just let me know down in the comments. See here, there's propulsion, and then the fuel tanks. You get constructions, you get aircraft parts, landing, spacecraft, wheels, flight control, parachute, electronic, electricity, science, and so on. So this is where you get to unlock the parts. So you need to pay a 5 science fee, and from there there's a cost for each of the parts. There's the admin building, where it's mostly politics, and it gives you kind of bonus. I don't really use it that much, but I know what it's used for. So each of these things here have a setup cost. So stars are reputation. I currently don't have reputation or science or funds. I have nothing right now. Well, I have some funds, but I could 0 funds, research right sell out. This takes blah 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 science. Yeah, it's basically like you just have to read, because I don't really use that much. It's politics, so I try to keep it outside my space program. Astronaut complex, this is where you get to hire astronauts. So every time you hire one, the price to hire one increases by a lot. So at some point it could cost you over $1 million per astronaut. So careful not to hire too much at the same time. Try not to lose them. They're really important. And there you get the aircraft center. I won't go there, and this is the airfield. So once you build an aircraft, it will take off from the airstrip. Right now it's mostly like sand, but yeah, you have to upgrade it, just like the launch pad. That's pretty much it. And then the center building, which I've not talked about because we're gonna jump right into this one. It's the vehicle assembly building. Title is pretty straightforward. You get to build the spacecraft, the satellites, everything you want. So the first mission I had was to gather science from Kerbin. Let's do that right there. I don't even need to put the parachute, but it's gonna be right. You'll need science. This is a symmetry. Okay, wait. I think I'm going too fast now. Okay. Pods. The first icon on the top here are pods. You need this to put people in them, or satellite, but I don't have the satellite parts unlocked yet. So you need a pod that's for 1 person only, and they can store inventory. There's a maximum. I could add probably something more just for fun. A backup science instrument. Can I do that? Oh, whatever. Okay. Yeah, so you have your pods, the first icon, the second icon are fuel tanks, but I don't have any right now. I have a solid rocket booster, which I'm gonna put, and I have a parachute. So I have what it takes to gather scientific data from Kerbin and to launch our first vessel, which are our first contracts. But that's not all you want to do. You want to do some science. Usually you'd want to put at least one or two of these in your spacecraft. So I'll put them on the side, just like that. So if you want to make things look nice, you could click the move tool, click on the item that you want to move, and I can move it inside. Holding shift will make it more precise movements. If you don't hold shift, it's gonna do like this. Holding shift gives you a little more freedom of movement. Just for now, it looks good just for the sake of this demonstration. So on the lower right here, you got the staging. So add the solid rocket booster at the bottom, and you want the parachute to be at the top. So the first time you're gonna hit spacebar to trigger the first staging event, it's going to trigger the rocket booster activation. Once this is complete, if you click again on spacebar, it's going to trigger the parachute. So, and you on the top here you can name your spacecraft. So I'm gonna call it SN1, even though it doesn't look like SN1, but that's fine. Loading, please wait. Alright, so once you're at the launch pad, you don't want to click any button just right now. We want to accomplish our first goal of gathering scientific data from Kerbin. So you right click on your science instrument and you click Observe Mystery Goo. So you can do it from the launch pad, you can do it from the air, from the top of the atmosphere, from space, from high orbit, and the same thing from every planet. You could also do that to every biome. So if I have this mystery goo to the science center, that's another a few science point that it's gonna give me. If I bring this to the mountains of Kerbin, it's gonna give me more science. You cannot ever get the same science 2 times. So let's collect that. And from the spacecraft itself, right click on it. You could do a crew report. You can also do that from every biome, every time you're in the air, top of atmosphere, low orbit, high orbit. You keep the experiment. You can also do EVA. If your astronaut center is just level 1, you can only EVA while you're on the planet. Landed, that's what I mean. Alright, so EVA report from the launch pad. I'll keep the experiment. Let's go back inside the spacecraft. And we basically have completed gathering scientific data from Kerbin. So let's launch now. So to launch, you want to press T to activate the SAS. SAS will keep your spacecraft going at the same direction it's going at. And then you want to hit spacebar. So spacebar will trigger the engine. So 3, 2, 1. And you can also move using the WASD key. So I'm just gonna put myself a little further on the side. Let's try to see if I can land somewhere else. Usually you'd have a part in between the pod and the engine to separate them, or a separatron or something like that. I don't have that right now. It's not unlocked yet. So you want to hit the spacebar again to deploy the parachute. So let's do that. It's a little bit funky. It's going through the spacecraft, but it's fine for now. You could remove T by pressing T again. You remove the SAS, that's what I meant, or just clicking on it. And at a specific altitude, 1,000 meters, like right now, the parachute will fully deploy. And you're slowly going down. If you want to time accelerate, go top here and just click 1x, 2x, 3x. And your Kerbin is about to come back home, and here we go. I should have done a mystery goo in the air, but oh well. I did one from Kerbin shores. See? I did one from the launch pad over there. And now I did one from the shores. So there we go. I could also do an EVA report from the shores. More science. It's always good. So I did launch first our first vessel, and gather scientific data from Kerbin will be completed once I recover the vessel. So after that, we'll be ready to go unlock some more science stuff. So here it's telling you a crew report from Launchpad, EVA report from Launchpad, from Kerbin Shore, from Launchpad, and so on, blah blah blah. It tells you where you did your science, what part has been recovered, and the value of these parts. The crew. Jebediah gained some XP, so you click done. I have 27.3 science. Let's go to the Research and Development Center. Let's unlock these two nodes right here. And the parts are already unlocked. I have 17 science. I could unlock this right away. Alright, so that's done. I got new parts, so once I'll go back to the VAB, I'll see those new parts. So for now, let's go to the mission control. Usually you'd want these contracts. Escape the atmosphere and orbit Kerbin. Yeah, you take these contracts for now. If you wanted to gain some extra money, you could install for this specific contract here, test LV-T45 swivel liquid fuel engine splash down at Kerbin. So you'd put a small ship, you'd go splash down in the ocean, and you just right click on that engine and you'd click test. Here, test a decoupler landed at Kerbin. Easy enough. You just put a fuel tank, for example, a decoupler, and you just hit the decoupler button and boom, you get that money. But those are easy contract. I'm taking the harder contract. So escape the atmosphere and go to orbit. So to do that, I'll upgrade the launch pad. You right click on it and you click upgrade. I will not upgrade anything else for now. I'll keep the money. Alright, so let's remove that liquid fuel engine. Since we have decouplers, you remember you have the pods at the top, you have the fuel tanks, you have the engines. Command and control, I don't have any for now, but command and control helps stabilize your spacecraft. Structural, you'll need that eventually if you want to build stuff, either a base on the moon or planets or a bigger space station, stuff like that. Robotics, I'll do a tutorial about robotics later on. And coupling, really important. So let's take a small decoupler that fits for my size. See, you will not use that, it doesn't make sense. You'd use something the same size. And just for the sake of this video, I want to put this inside the spacecraft. You would probably want to do that if you had a small pod, because the first time you'll re-enter the atmosphere, most of the science stuff at the outside the pod will burn up. So you'll hear explosion while you re-enter the atmosphere and you'll wonder what's happening. All your science is mostly gone. That's what's happening. So I want to put this, and I want to put this. I'll probably want to put one of these. I have that mod that scale down parts, so don't ask if you can't do that. I'm just resizing parts. This mod is called Tweak Scale. Tweak Scale rescales pretty much everything in the game. See, I can even rescale the spacecraft itself, or parachutes, or most of the parts in the game. I've put this inside there. I want that as well. So this part, I'll put it inside using the move part tool. And I want to rotate this thing to be pointing up. I know it doesn't look quite right because I should have this on a satellite. Yeah, I'll put that one on a satellite. I will not do any magnetometer scan for now. So you have the move part tool, you could rotate the parts and you can reroute. Reroute is like, this is the route. So every part that I have is move with this by clicking on this thing. But if I wanted like the parachute as a route, see, now I click on the parachute, it's now the route. But that's not what I want. So let's put it back to the spacecraft. So let's build our second stage. Usually the second stage is smaller than the booster stage. As you get higher and higher in the rocket, you want smaller and smaller stages, because it wouldn't make any sense to have a heavier stage on top of a smaller stage, right? So one important metric also to note is the engine ISP. So 85 ASL means at sea level. So if the number is low, you don't want to use this while you're escaping the atmosphere. VAC, so 317 VAC for this one, it means it's a really good engine for vacuum. This one is kind of good for both. 261 at sea level and 203 for vacuum. So this one is good for both, but I'd rather have a higher ISP while in the vacuum. So I'll put this one. And now you have your second stage. So you want to add a decoupler, you go to the coupling tab, click 1.25 meter, and there you go. You go back to the fuel tank and you add a fuel tank here. And you add your, your engine. So I want a higher ASL ISP. So 261 seems to be the best one. So yeah, there's a parachute. We have science. We have an astronaut on board. Let's see. This thing can definitely escape the atmosphere. I'm just not sure if I could get to orbit with this. So let's click, change the name, it's down to 2, save, and launch. So, again, you click on T to trigger the SAS, or you just click on it. You click, something I did not mention before, is you press Z. Z puts your throttle to maximum power. X cuts down the engine power. You could also trigger it by typing Shift. Shift can throttle down or throttle up using Shift and Control to put it up with Shift, put it down with Control. When I want maximum power. And let's go. The important thing to note here is if you're going to a low Kerbin orbit, a low orbit around the planet itself, you want your rocket to be pointing 45 at angle by the time you reach 10 kilometer high. Okay, so I'll start my yaw and roll. So I'm already almost 4 kilometers high. So I need to be pointing 45-degree angle. I know here it's saying 90 degree, but that's the inclination of the planet. I'm going to an equatorial orbit. So I'm almost 10 kilometers high. And see, I'm almost at a 45-degree angle. Because by the time I reach between the blue and the brown and the ball, I'll be completely 90 degree. That's what we want to do. But first we must escape the atmosphere and then go as fast as possible sideways. This is how you reach orbit. So everything's looking good for now. I could probably do some science while we have the time. Remember, you just simply right click and you do it. You click keep experiment. So I'll do a crew report as well. And there we go. If your rocket is like glowing orange like this, it's because you're accelerating too fast. You could throttle down using control key. But I have no more fuel on that stage, so let's dump the stage using space. You could also accelerate time a little more. And I want to turn on my engines right now. Because we need to reach space. And if you feel like you're descending, you're losing your altitude, just point your spacecraft a little higher up. That'll help you. I'm still gaining altitude, but not by a lot. I'll be able to reach orbit with just this rocket alone. But I can see here, those bars here is parts being overheated. So you want to try to escape the atmosphere as fast as possible. Because I'm currently going at almost re-entry speeds. I'm gonna turn off my engines because some parts are almost exploding. You click the M to see the map. So that bar here is where I'm headed. I'm not in orbit yet, but I'm gonna turn on my engine. I'm gonna turn on my engines right here, near the apoapsis. That's the highest point in your orbit. So let's just accelerate time a little more. It's still toasty up here, but it's fine. Alright, let's turn back on the engines to put ourselves almost in orbit. So to be in orbit, the line where you're going needs to be doing a full circle around the planet, and periapsis and apoapsis needs to be over 70 kilometers. So this here is 93, that's fine. This is 44. So we're gonna accelerate time until we reach the 91 point. It's saying that my altitude is dropping. That's because I'm still in the atmosphere. So there's drag resistance right there. And you can do time 10 to times 100,000 time fast forward as soon as you reach 70 kilometers and above. So that's why I'm accelerating time a little bit here. What was the science I collected here? Review data while flying at Kerbin. So let's stop here quickly. I'm gonna take science from Kerbin upper atmosphere, because why not? We want as much science as possible. So the next time I'm going to space, I'll be collecting from orbit. So we're almost at 70 kilometers. And here we go. Alright, let's accelerate time until we reach that highest point in our orbit, 81 kilometer. And you want to be able to point yourself at the green circle that has no bar in it. The full green circle will make your speed go faster, and it will raise your orbit. So I'll turn on my engines, you'll see. My altitude is raising because I pointed it at prograde. Prograde is the green circle that has no X in it. If you point at the one that has an X in it, which I'll be doing now, because all my goals are complete, I want to come back home. Because right now I'm in orbit. I will not be coming back home like this. As much as I want to, I will not come back home. What you need to do is to point your spacecraft at the green circled with an X in it, the retrograde, and you turn on your engine. See what happens. It's lowering my altitude. You don't want the altitude to be too low because the re-entry speed will be much greater and the heat will be even greater. So 30 kilometers is good enough. At this point, you could probably dump all your fuel. You could stage off that stage, but I'll keep it to slow down even more. So as I'm about to re-enter the atmosphere, I will just use all my fuel. So instead of wasting it, I'll just turn on my engine and decelerate using the retrograde. So at the speed I'm going, it will not be dangerous at all to re-enter the atmosphere. So I have no fuel. No point in keeping that fuel tank. You stage it off. Peace. It flew off fast because I'm using currently at ×4 time acceleration. At this point in flight, you could remove the SAS and let the air resistance of the atmosphere just fly your spacecraft by itself. So speed is dropping. Notice here that the parachute is still in the red. If you turn it on while it's red, it's gonna break and you'll crash land. You'll lose that astronaut. So right now it's good, so I can deploy it. The way you know if it's good, it's not gonna be red or yellow. It's going to be a normal icon. So at 1 kilometer height, the parachute fully deploys itself, slows you down. The speed at which you need to go to not crash land is under 10 meters per second, preferably. Because higher than that, 10 meters per second, parts will start to break upon landing. So here we go. Job done. So I'll take him out, do an AVA report, get him back inside, and recover the vessel. Simple as that. Again, you're being displayed with all of the scientific data that you gathered, all the parts that has been saved, recovered, and the crew that's been recovered, and if he leveled up. So advance to 1 star. When an astronaut gains more star, they can do more things. So done. I have more science. You could go on and unlock more science than this. I'd rather want to unlock engine and this right now. The next thing I'll be unlocking is probably electricity, well, batteries, and then solar panels. So that's basically it for this tutorial. I've been speaking for over 30 minutes. I'll be making another tutorial very soon. So if you guys enjoyed that tutorial, hit like, hit subscribe, leave your comments down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Give me your feedback. I'll be making a new tutorial soon about how to go to the moon and back, and much more. just give me your ideas. What would you guys want to see? After all, I'm doing these videos for all of you, so let me know what you guys think. Until then, stay safe, take care, bye bye.